This Kuei Daymaster born in the month of Rat is definitely a strong Daymaster being born at the peak of the water season. Although it's not necessary to delve into this, for completeness it should be noted that there is a partial tree harmony combination in the chart from the dragon and the rat. This adds to the strength of the Daymaster, although it doesn't really need it, but it's there and so we should just take note of it. Accordingly, there is no doubt that this is a strong water Daymaster. This means the favorable elements for this strong water Daymaster are output, represented by wood, officer, represented by earth, and wealth, represented by fire. If you don't know why this is the case, then you probably need a refresher on the topic of favorable and unfavorable elements. Something to consider making a video about. Now, as in the past, typically we want to look at the strength of these favorable elements, and our usual method for doing this is to reference the month branch. As I have indicated in other videos, the month is the chi door of the chart, so that is the means in which we somewhat definitively determine the strength of each element in the chart. I say somewhat definitively because there are also some small other factors to consider, but generally speaking, you won't go wrong if you are using the month. An easy way to do this is to simply reference the season of birth and then determine what elements are strong and weak during that season. Rat belongs to the season of winter, and in winter, water is the strongest element, followed by wood. By contrast, earth, metal, and fire are considered the weakest elements during the winter season. So here we have one of the favorable elements, namely wood, supported by the season of birth. However, the element of wood is primarily located in two graveyard branches in this chart, namely the goat and the dragon. So whilst the element is present and arguably supported by the season, it is located in what can be considered a problematic location and not very accessible by the Daymaster. So wood, while favorable, is not very usable or accessible. That in itself creates its own set of problems. The other two favorable elements, earth and fire, are not favored by the season of birth. Fortunately for Kuei water, season has less of an impact on the quality of fire because time matters more when it comes to the fire element's quality. Based on the hour of birth, which is dragon, the ping fire in this chart is considered timely, whilst the ting fire is considered less timely. However, having one element be of a timely quality is better than the entire element being unsupported, so we will take this win for the fire element in this chart. The earth element has no such saving grace. Earth, as you will recall, has no season of its own anyway and relies on the season of summer as its supportive season. In this chart, earth would be considered weak as it receives no support from the season per se. Now, it is all good that we've determined the favorable elements and determined their strength, but the million-dollar question is always the same. What does this information tell us about this person? You see, the strength of the Daymaster doesn't actually reveal any pertinent information to us of a practical nature. It is a purely theoretical construct designed to achieve a bigger aim, which is to determine the favorable and unfavorable elements. But the favorable and unfavorable elements, wielded well, can tell us a lot of useful information, provided the elements have actually been evaluated as we have done in this video. Now, let's use one element as an example, just to better understand this idea of how we can get actual practical usable information from the favorable and unfavorable elements evaluation. Let's use the output element by way of an example of understanding how favorable and unfavorable elements can actually give us real information and not just a theoretical outcome. Output, represented by wood, is one of the favorable elements for this Kuei water Daymaster. It is strong by season, but it presents in a difficult to use position being in the dragon and goat graveyard branches. So what can we extrapolate from this information? Well, first we determine what the output star correlates to. Amongst the many things that correlates to is communication skill. When the output star is hidden, as it is in this chart, the person usually tends to be not very good at communicating their thoughts or struggles to be clear in their communication with other people. What we've done there is to give you a sneak peek into the more advanced analysis that is usually done on a chart once the favorable and unfavorable elements have been derived. However, to actually be able to use the favorable and unfavorable element information as I have done, you need to actually know the 10 gods and preferably know it somewhat well. If you don't know the 10 gods, then for now focus on being able to decisively determine the strength of the Daymaster first.